grade messaging. So what that means is that all of the services are being tracked in ways that are in support of the carriers. So end user privacy is supported in an automated way, and then all of the carriers we provide connections to all carriers in the United States. And so anybody with a cell phone that can text is going to be able to have a text conversation with you or get a text message from you. And then we also support end user privacy in an automated way. So like, let's say somebody doesn't want to get text from you. All they would need to do is text stop, quit, or unsubscribe to then cancel their subscription or cancel the messages. And then they get an automatic message back that says you won't get any more messages from this number. So you as a health agency can be rest assured that the system and the way in which we've set up the service and the way in which it operates is consistent with not only best practice, but the website itself is according to HIPAA guidelines. So all of the data is being stored in co-located servers in data centers that are meet or exceed the requirements of how data is stored and archived in a HIPAA environment. The way in which we set services up for you is we kind of give you a login location where you have a designated website where everybody who's going to have access to the site would log in through the portal, the login portal, and they would come to the website that we've set up for you, and everybody that is going to have access to the website is going to have their own private access. So when we set up your staff profiles, that's what we're doing. We're activating your staff members and your administrators so that they can log in and gain access to the user interface. And so when you get that activation link is from admin@sms.ascorp.com. That's just to make sure that it's you who's activating your profile. And in that activation link, you're also given a password. And then in that link, when you click that link, it says, okay, you've activated your credentials, now you can log in. And that link will actually take you to the login page. And then you just enter your email address and your password that's given to you, and you come to your queue. And this queue is set up on short code 85511. So all messages to your clients or staff or whoever you want to text with are going to come from that number, 85511. And that will become synonymous with texts from your agency because they're always going to come from that number. And then where you go to do work is always going to be here, right? Now we can change the title, we can change the settings, right? Everything that is, it can be edited in terms of, templates for appointment reminders or auto responses. If you have a queue that you're offering live support through, you can have after hours auto responses going out. All of those are customizable and part of all of those are customizable and available to you as part of your admin tools. So when you click here to the admin, you get to see, for instance, your staff profiles, and then you have all of these additional features down here, and these are all explained in greater detail in the user guide. And I'll point you to the user guide just a second here. Let's see. Just a second here. Okay, yeah, my drive. Okay, so pop over here. Startup guides. Okay, so this right here is going to be a downloadable version of the user guide that pertains to the short code 85511. I'm sending that to everybody who's in this meeting right now. I just sent you the link to this. So this document is about 17 pages or 19 pages long, and it goes over all of the features and the functionality from start to finish. Logging in, how to change content, how to manage your canned messages, how to add a client to the service, how to add multiple clients or multiple phone numbers to the service, how to set up your canned messages, how to set up your data markers, how to set up any kind of group messaging that you're going to do, how to create groups, all handled in this 19-page document. Now, how do I put a client into the service, or how do I put a phone number into the service? So you can either have the individual text a keyword to this number, like if you were going to do a health promotion project and you wanted them to participate and sign up for educational text, you could promote a keyword to that number that they would text to then sign up for those messages. You can also go to admin and you can go to fully opt-in and you can put a client in there, a phone number. So I'm going to put my phone number in, 831-332-0296, and then down here I can send a message at the time I put this phone number into the service. I can also add a name at the time. I can also, guys, add an Excel spreadsheet or upload my client or phone number list with an Excel spreadsheet. So a column of mobile numbers, a column of names. You can also have additional customizable markers that get attached to that profile at the point when you add them to the service. So there's a lot of on-ramps to texting with PreventionPays, right? There's a lot of different ways you can start to use the service with a group of mobile numbers or a single mobile number. It doesn't have to be that they text from their phone. It can also be that you use this opt-in tool. And then if, for instance, I want to assign, and then down here is the list of keywords that I've set up. And I've set up several examples of keywords. You guys also can add more keywords as you like. You just put in the request. And in a link that I send you, there's going to be a document that's all about getting additional keywords and the processes of going through doing that. I'm just going to, as an example, add, because you guys had mentioned being interested in creating a staff text messaging component where staff that you work with are going to get text from you from time to time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my phone number to the queue and assign it the staff keyword, so that when we add this phone number to the queue, it's going to get an opt-in message and be opted in to the staff keyword. I could put an additional message in here if I wanted to. You know, I could say, you know, hi, this is Carol. I'm just adding you to the staff subscriber list, or not. You know, because we can send a message at opt-in, right? And I think we have a message. If we check here on home, go back here and go info. So yeah, so IHS staff, I just do it as an example here, but you guys, can customize this. So when I add a phone number to IHS staff, it's going to get this opt-in message. Sign up complete. Watch for texts about news, events, disclosures, and other important info from Indian Health Services admins. Text opt out. So all the things that we talked about there are in that welcome message. And then, of course, you can customize it from here. But that's just an example. So I'll go ahead and add now, going back over to the admin in the fully opt-in tab. I go 831-332-0296. Then I'm going to want to add my name at the same time. And then I'm also going to add a data marker at the time. I'll add, for example, gender, and so that we can see how that works. And then I'll assign it the keyword IHS staff. So at this point, I'm not sending an additional message. I'm just adding this phone number. This phone number has the name Jonathan Hawley, and then I'm going to tag it with this additional data marker that the gender is male. And then I'm going to assign it to the IHS staff keyword. So then I click fully opt-in, and then I get a little update up here. If there were multiple numbers, then all phone numbers that were in that box would get the opt-in message, and we just showed you. And then going back over here to the users queue, that's where your queue is. That's where your inbox is. That's where all the phone numbers will appear. And the phone numbers are going to appear kind of like how an email inbox works, in that all new phone numbers will be there. Just as if you have a new email that comes in, it populates your email inbox. Well, this is your text message inbox. And then what I know to be true about this one is the phone number. Scroll over the phone number, the name. Looking here, opt-in keyword, IHS staff, that rings true. When I click on the phone number there, whoa, now I see the phone number and the message we sent them. So we've opted them in, and we sent them that greeting, acknowledging that they've signed up. And then over here on the right, this is what we refer to as the inspector. This is tied to each client. So the moment you click on a phone number, it can be client or staff, whatever you guys choose to do. So the moment you click on a phone number in the queue, up will pop the inspector window for that particular phone number. And then in that inspector window, I've got some additional things I can toy with. Notes, I can create a note about this person or this phone number. I can also add data markers beyond what we automatically added when we added the phone number, you see. So this is where the characteristics or the attributes of that phone number and its profile are stored in this inspector. And down all the way down here, and I'm going to hide this particular window, attributes, just so that you can clearly see this. Down below data markers is surveys and series. This is where you can assign an automatic SMS survey. So any survey tools that you want to use, like for instance, a quality assurance survey, could be assigned to a client. It can be assigned at opt-in, or it can be assigned after the fact, after we've opted in, right? So this survey tool and how it gets assigned is also available in the inspector window. I can also add messages to delay. So, for instance, I could add a message reminding this person about an event at the time when we, at any moment in time, but I can assign this to delay. So under Reminders tab, I can set up content to go out to the group, So everybody who we opt into IHA staff, I can always send a text to. But I can also not assign it to a keyword and just make it manually schedulable. I don't forget about sign up for our new So if I know, for instance, that I want content to be assignable to a client, but then delay it on when they get it, I cannot select a keyword that it's going to go to and just make it, and not select the time and date that it's going to go out, just make it manually schedulable and then save it. And then now when I'm working on a case or I'm looking at a phone number, I would have that additional message to then delay. If we know that we don't want this to go out for 5 days, then it's neat. We can set that up to go out 5 days from now. And so this 831 number is now going to get a text from us. Don't forget, 5 days from now. And it shows up under your show unsent. And then when you scroll over the date and time, it tells you the future date and time it's going to go out. The same is going to be true for any reminders that you set up. So you can, or group messages. So you can say staff alert, right? Alert. All staff meeting this Friday. Please bring a notepad or something to write with. Something like that, right? And so then if you can't make it, make text back or call our admin office. And then I select IHA staff. And then when do I want this to go out? Well, let's have it go out a couple minutes from now. So what month are we in now? We're already in November. My goodness. So we pick November, and then we pick and so then now I've got a message that's going to go out to everybody that we put in that keyword. And it's going to go out today in approximately 4 minutes. So then I can look at this case and I can see the message that is there, and then also it's got a pending message here because it's I was opted into that keyword, and that's the keyword we're sending this group message to. And then if I need to cancel this or change it or remove it, right, I can just delete it as long as I catch it before the send date and time. I can also modify it. You know, I can also reuse it. Right? Staff alert, IHS staff, but it's not going to go out until 1 week from now. Right? So November 9th, something like that. And so, and then we set the time. And however we want to do that, right? So then now we've got a message that's going to go out in a few minutes from now to all staff. But then we've also got the same message going out 1 week from now at around the same time. So you see how you can build content in advance. Like you could have all your text messages scheduled for staff, all queued up here, all ready to go, months in advance. Just how much planning you want to be, and how in advance of those messages going out are you going to be. You can also use this Groups tab to build additional groups beyond the big group. Now, the big group is staff, because that's the group where we're putting all these phone numbers into. But maybe I've got a message that isn't for all staff. Maybe I've got a message that's for some of my staff, but not all of them. Maybe I know a group of phone numbers that I'm going to pluck and put into a subgroup or a subcategory. Shift. This is a special group because it's not all staff. I don't want to bother everybody with this text. I just want 5 of my folks to get this text, because I know that these are the only ones who are actually going to be eligible to cover that shift. And so then I can find those phone numbers by name or phone number. Right now we only have my phone number in the queue, but at some point in the near future, probably going to have a lot of phone numbers, or all of your staff phone numbers at a minimum. And so we can then go ahead and build a group based on whatever criteria we have. And we can use sorting tools to get at it. Well, we know that this is the group we added them under, IHS staff. So we're going to sort, because we have people opted into different keywords. We're going to first sort this list by the keyword IHS staff. And then from that, we're going to pluck the numbers that we want to put into it and then save it. Now we've got an ad hoc group under the Groups tab that we can send content to. Different from the big group. Why? Because we said that we're gonna pare down the big group into just these 5, because we know that we only are going to ask these 5 phone numbers if they can cover tomorrow's shift. So one of the wonderful characteristics about this system and this software is the ability to subdivide groups and build groups in whatever ways you want or need. And it's very flexible in that way, so that you're not always beholden to the architecture that you used at the beginning. Because a lot of times you might think, well, heck, we're gonna let all the staff know, and it's gonna be great, and we'll text all staff and wonderful, and it'll be great. But at some point down the road, you'll start to learn that you know what, all staff is great for certain things, but it's not great for all things. And so being able to carve up that big group becomes an essential thing. And that's what Groups tab is all about. So once you guys get going and get your staff loaded up under the fully opt-in tab, and you assign them the keywords they're going to be opted into, and then you start to use this service and text them information, all staff alerts, consider also this Groups tab and using it kind of like you use email listservs. If you're familiar with that, where you send certain emails to certain people but not to everybody. Well, that's what Groups tab lets you do. You guys have any questions about these things that we've talked about thus far?
So if we have a listing of about maybe 100 people on it, it has to be an Excel spreadsheet to upload it automatically?
Yeah.
And
that's
the format would be like the first column would be the phone number. Is the phone number one continuous number? There's no dashes or anything?
It can have dashes in it. It can have punctuation. It can have parentheses and dashes in it. It doesn't have to be one continuous number.
And then the second column would be like the way you have that one with the I don't know what it's called, the less than sign, and then the name, and then the greater than sign. Is that how it has to be formatted for them to upload? For their name?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, it does. You're exactly right. Your question is, do we have to put it in those arrows? No. The only reason I put them in the arrows is because I manually am doing it with the application. But if you're going to upload with an Excel spreadsheet, then just the column header needs to be called name, for instance, if it's the name of the client. I'm sorry, if it's the name of the staff. Just make sure your header is name, and the header for the mobile number is phone. And then the actual name can just be the name, and it can be first name, last name, or last name, first name, or however it is. We'll stick it into the profile.
So if we want to update that spreadsheet, if somebody leaves and we have new people coming on, is it just a matter of updating it and then it will override what's existing in there?
You can probably just go in and
Yeah, it's a matter of updating, and if a phone number is already in there, it's not going to replicate the profile. But it would if there's a correction to it or a change in the name for that phone number, then it will put the new name into the profile.
Okay.
But if we just wanted to delete like one person, we can just manually do that, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah, if one person doesn't want to get alerts anymore, under the admin is an opt-out tool where you can put the phone number in and click opt-out, and they get opted out and they don't get any more text from you. They get a message that says you won't get any more messages from this number. That same person can also text the word STOP, and then that will also opt them out of getting any messages from you. So yeah, it's very easy to remove or stop that person from being able to get text anymore from you. So that tool is under, if you go to admin and you go to opt out, that's where you can opt out either a list of mobile numbers or a single mobile number. And I would just put 831-332-0296, and you'll see what happens. This person just following phone number has been successfully opted out. And then my phone just got a message saying, you have successfully unsubscribed. You won't get any more messages from 85511. And then if we pop over to the users, look at that. It's out, opted out. So it's still, we can look at it. We can see the information that happened with it. Just can't send messages to this guy anymore because he's opted out. Now, how do I change this status? Well, I can either opt this phone number back in, or this phone number could text the keyword IHS staff to 85511. So let me show you how that works. I'm just going to text the keyword IHS staff to 85511. And when I do that, it should change my status. There it goes. Change my status to live again, opted in again. And as you'll see here, you see the IHS staff, the darker blue? See, that indicates that was from a mobile phone. That message came from a mobile phone. Down here, it's a lighter blue. That means that the opt-in happened because we put the number into the service, right? It's different from when somebody texts the keyword to opt in. We put that in a darker blue. So there's a difference between opting in from your mobile phone versus getting opted in using the application. And that shows up in the string of messages. So the light blue and all blue indicate messages from the client or the end user or the staff member, and all the green messages are from either your agency, if they're automated as part of the opt-in, or from a staff member who's actually having a conversation with the phone number. So that brings up the next piece, which is, how do I have a conversation with a phone number? Let's say we send out an alert. We say, all staff, please don't forget about our staff meeting this Friday, and if you absolutely can't make it, text back. Well, you get a text back, and somebody says they can't make it, right? And so I get that message, and I text back, and I say, I can't make it. I can't make it. Well, that's going to appear in the queue, and it'll blink, and it will, if you have an audio turned on, it will audio alert you, a little pinging noise. And then if you have notifications checked, there'll be a pop-up window that tells you somebody has texted the queue and it needs attention. And so now I can go, oh, well, he can't make it. Bummer. Got the alert about the all-staff meeting, but can't make it. So what do? Do we tell them to call us? Or do we tell them something else? Or do we have a text conversation with them? To have a text conversation with them, I just click open. And then I'm in conversation with the client or the staff member. So, we're, as an example, we put up canned messages. These are messages that help you they auto-populate so that they can help you through conversations if you need that support. Appointments in English and Spanish if you're doing them. These are examples of all your canned content, by the way, is customizable by you guys. You go to admin, canned messages, and then you just select the group that you want to edit, and you make those changes, whatever changes you need. But back to the conversation mode. So, guy can't make it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you can't make it. We will be providing detailed minutes in that following week. Please talk to Carol about there. So then that message goes out to that person because they said they can't make it. So everything is right there, right? Everything that you need to do with either groups, subgroups, or singular individualized conversational text with a single phone number. All the tools are right there at your disposal, right? All of them are right there. And this, when you have a look at that user guide, you'll see we lay it all out. We say here, this is what the Reminders tab does. And then we give examples of what you can do with the Reminders tab. And then we have in that same document, and then if you click the Groups tab, this is what you can do on Groups. So we provide you with not just step-by-step instructions, but also screenshots and examples of how to add content and make those changes. And then under your admin tools, well, that's where you can edit things like canned messages. So this is where you go to the Fully Opt-in tab to add your Excel spreadsheet of staff. And then this is where you go also to opt out somebody who doesn't want to get text from you anymore. That block feature, well, that's blocking a phone number so that they can't opt in. They couldn't text, for instance, a keyword to come back in. Some agencies have to use that if somebody is abusive or uses, foul language or, whatever. I mean, it's text messaging, and you could get somebody who's belligerent and and has to be blocked. So you always have that capacity to block a phone number from being able to text you. And then auto responses, and these are for holidays or after hours. So if somebody responds to a text that you send out, and that response comes in the middle of the night, you could have a bounce back message that goes out to anybody who texts you in the middle of the night saying, hey, we got your text, but we're not going to see this until sometime during our next business day. So auto responses let you have a bounce back message for any incoming messages that come in during certain hours or during holidays or whatever you like. And then your canned responses, well, those are all the messages that you might want to use during a conversation. And we give examples of possible canned groups that you might use, like appointments, changing appointments. If you send out an appointment reminder, imagine this for a second. You send out an appointment reminder, and in the appointment reminder, you tell them that if you need to cancel, just reply yes, or confirm, or confirm by replying yes, or cancel. To cancel, reply no, and then all your no's, right, get a message back saying, would you like somebody to contact you to reschedule? And then you're proactively going back to all those no's and rescheduling for them a new appointment. And you're using the canned messages to help you get through that, right? Do you prefer morning or afternoon? And then, is it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday is best for you? And then sending them that new appointment time could be an automated thing. But the rescheduling, the impetus to do that, right, would come from the appointment reminder itself, asking them if they want to cancel, right? So you can handle that kind of appointment reminder complexity. A lot of agencies are starting to experiment with that kind of additional capacity that don't just end at an appointment reminder going out by text. Have it be that it's an appointment reminder and confirmation tool that goes out by text. And then it also addresses the how are we going to get them in eventually as well, by being a conversational service too. Play around with it. We always recommend, you guys have indicated that you want to do some staff alerts. It's a wonderful place to start. And we urge you to, in doing that, also test some of the other features and the functionality and see what's going to work for you. And then as you guys begin to experiment with the staff alerts and that starts working well for you, well, then start maybe thinking about some of the other ways that it can be useful. And we're happy to add additional capacity for you. You guys have purchased a contract for services from us, which includes unlimited queues, unlimited messaging, and an unlimited staff profiles. So we can build an additional queue separate from your staff alerts queue that is for our clients, our patients who are going to get appointment reminders from us, or they're going to get educational texts, or our expectant mothers are going to get these educational texts, or whatever you guys decide to do. We can then build the additional inbox so that it's all segmented. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. So
good.
We can have, I guess my question is about the administrator. So
yes.
I would probably be one because I want to do the staff alerts.
Okay.
And so I would be able to access this website anywhere, not just in my office?
Right. You would be able to do it from a smartphone, from a tablet, any web-enabled tool or
Okay.
device.
Okay.
You could log in. Yep.
And so it kind of goes back to the admin, I guess, is the person who's doing that, because we may have a switchboard operator or someone else managing the patients, and
Yes.
we have optometry clinic, a dental clinic, a medical clinic. We may have a nutritionist. So we have all kinds of different clinics that may be administrators that will set up their own messaging and phone numbers and
Sure.
groups.
Yeah, we get it. So we're
Okay.
prepared to help you do that.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that's all I have.
I don't have anything. I'm going to go through your guide, and if I have any questions, I'll